The sterile walls of St. Mary's Hospital closed in on Debbie Wilson as she cradled her newborn son. It should have been a joyous moment, but instead her heart was heavy with sorrow. Tears streaked down her cheeks, mascara bleeding into the lines of her despair. Dr. Thompson, the attending physician with a gentle demeanor, approached with a heavy heart. "Mrs. Wilson, I understand this is difficult, but you need to know about your son's condition," he said softly. Debbie nodded, her eyes glued to the tiny, perfect face of her baby boy, Samuel, unable to comprehend how something could be amiss. "He has Treacher-Collins syndrome," Dr. Thompson continued. "It's a rare genetic disorder affecting facial bone development. He'll face challenges breathing, eating, hearing, but with proper care, he can lead a fulfilling life." "Will he be okay?" she whispered, clutching Samuel closer. "It will be a challenging journey," the doctor replied, his eyes not hiding the truth. Debbie's mind raced back to 3 years prior, a pivotal moment under a rain-soaked bus shelter. That day, she met Mike Johnson, a kind stranger who offered her a ride during a storm. Mike's pickup truck became a sanctuary from the rain, and from their first conversation, a deep connection blossomed. Debbie shared her dreams and struggles, and Mike listened with an intensity that made her heart flutter. He was supportive, charming, and before long they were inseparable. But happiness is often a prelude to heartache. Mike's mother, Rachel Johnson, was the frost that withered their blooming relationship. At their first meeting, Rachel's icy demeanor and sharp tongue made her disapproval clear. Debbie's background as a nurse from a humble family did little to impress Rachel, who had hoped for someone more befitting the Johnson legacy. Despite Rachel's efforts to undermine her, Debbie's relationship with Mike grew stronger. They married quietly and were ecstatic when they learned of Debbie's pregnancy. However, Rachel's shadow loomed over their joy, her disdain palpable at every family gathering. Now, as Debbie held Samuel, the weight of Rachel's prejudice felt all the more burdensome. She dialed Mike, her hands trembling. "Something's wrong with Sam," she managed to say through tears. Confusion and doubt clouded Mike's heart as he processed the news. His mother's insidious suggestions that Debbie might have been unfaithful crept into his mind, poisoning his judgment. Rachel's manipulation knew no bounds. She convinced Mike to question Samuel's paternity, driving a wedge between the new parents. In her darkest hour, Debbie was forced to leave her home. Rachel orchestrated a cruel plan, sending her to a dilapidated house on the outskirts of town, under the pretense of protecting the family's reputation. There, Debbie met Oliver, a supposed down-and-out relative tasked with keeping her out of sight. But Oliver was not what he seemed. Behind his rough exterior was a man wronged by his own family, scorned and underestimated much like Debbie. Together they found strength. Oliver's connections and unexpected kindness helped Debbie navigate Samuel's medical needs. Their shared struggles against Rachel's cruelty blossomed into a deep, genuine love. Oliver adopted Samuel, and they built a new life, far from the Johnsons' reach. Years later, at a sunlit park, the past collided with the present. Mike and Rachel appeared, the sight of a happy Debbie with Oliver and Samuel igniting a confrontation. But Debbie was no longer the woman they'd driven away. She was strong, fulfilled, surrounded by true love. She forgave them, not for their sake but for her peace. As they walked away from the stunned Johnsons, Oliver's embrace reassured Debbie. They had built something beautiful from the wreckage Rachel had left. Their love, tested and true, was her real happily ever after. In the end, Debbie's journey through love, betrayal, and redemption taught her that the right people will stand by you, not only in the sunlight but also in the shadow. Sam's laughter echoed in the park, a testament to their victory over adversity, a melody of a family's enduring love. As the laughter of little Sam filled the air, Debbie realized that her life had taken a turn she never could have imagined. But it was richer and more fulfilling than she had ever dared to hope. Each giggle from Sam and each smile shared with Oliver reinforced her belief in second chances and the power of resilience. Oliver, who had once seemed just a part of Rachel's cruel scheme, had become her partner in every sense. He had not only accepted Sam as his own but had championed Debbie's cause against his own family's machinations. The little makeshift family on Sycamore Lane was a testament to their shared commitment to create a nurturing home against all odds. That afternoon in the park, As they indulged in ice cream and laughter, Debbie caught sight of Rachel and Mike lingering nearby. The sharp edges of the past seemed to soften momentarily as she noticed the regret painted across Mike's face. Despite everything, Debbie felt a pang of compassion. She knew the pain of being manipulated by Rachel all too well. "Deb, are they still there?" Oliver asked, his voice low, protective. Debbie nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "Yes, but it's okay. Let them watch. They need to see what they lost." Oliver squeezed her hand, a silent vow between them. He had learned from Debbie, just as much as she had from him, the value of forgiveness and the strength it took to move forward. As they continued their day, Debbie felt a sense of closure. Her past with Mike was a chapter that had ended, but it had led her to a future she cherished with Oliver and Sam. The park around them buzzed with the energy of other families, each absorbed in their own worlds, and Debbie felt a deep connection to this community of ordinary yet extraordinary stories. Weeks turned into months, and Debbie found herself more involved in the community. She started a support group for parents of children with Treacher-Collins syndrome, driven by her journey with Sam. The group provided a space for sharing resources, encouragement, and stories of challenges and triumphs. Oliver, seeing the impact Debbie had on others, suggested they start a blog to reach families beyond their locality. The blog, Sam's Smile, quickly gained followers, becoming a beacon of hope and a source of practical advice for families navigating similar paths. One evening, as Debbie updated the blog with a post about their latest group meeting, she received an email from a publisher interested in her and Oliver's story. They wanted to turn their journey into a book to inspire others facing adversity. Overwhelmed with emotion, Debbie shared the news with Oliver. "That's incredible, Deb." "What do you think?" Oliver asked, his eyes shining with pride. "I think it's our chance to turn all the pain into something that could help others feel less alone," Debbie replied, her voice trembling with emotion. As they discussed the book, Sam played quietly at their feet, building towers with his blocks. Debbie realized that each block he placed was like the days they had spent building their new life, careful, intentional, and filled with love. The book, titled Beyond the Shadows, was published the following year, sharing not just the challenges of Treacher-Collins syndrome, but also the broader message of overcoming life's unexpected trials through community, love, and resilience. It was a success, touching the hearts of readers worldwide. Debbie, Oliver, and Sam continued to grow together, their lives a testament to the unexpected paths that often lead us to our happiest places. Each day was a reminder that while they had faced trials that seemed insurmountable, they had emerged stronger, bonded not by blood, but by the unconditional love and support they offered each other. As they sat on their porch one crisp autumn evening, watching Sam chase leaves in the yard, Debbie leaned into Oliver, grateful for every twist and turn that had brought them to this moment. "Our story isn't just about the struggles, is it?" she mused. Oliver kissed her forehead. "No, it's about finding light in the darkest places. And look at us now, we're surrounded by light." And so their lives unfolded, a beautiful blend of simplicity and significance, their love story a beacon for anyone who had ever wondered if they could weather the storm. Yes, they could, and they would. Together. As the seasons changed, and Sam grew into a spirited young boy, Debbie and Oliver's community outreach expanded. Inspired by the success of their book and the positive feedback from their blog, they ventured into workshops and seminars, facilitating discussions about genetic disorders, family dynamics, and resilience. Their work not only helped others but also enriched their own understanding and acceptance of their journey. Sam, now a curious and lively child, embraced his unique qualities with a confidence that his parents had carefully nurtured. At school, he became known for his infectious laugh and eagerness to help his classmates. Teachers often commented on his empathy, a trait that Debbie and Oliver knew stemmed from his early experiences in the open, loving environment at home. The community around them had become an extended family, rallying during fundraisers and awareness events that Debbie and Oliver organized. Sam loved these gatherings, seeing familiar faces and meeting new friends who shared similar stories. His favorite event was the annual Smile Day, a festival that celebrated differences and promoted acceptance, which had grown from a small local gathering into a much-anticipated community highlight. Meanwhile, Oliver found a new passion in advocacy, often traveling to speak at conferences and panels. His natural charm and earnest speeches earned him respect in the advocacy community, and he was soon invited to join a National Council for Genetic Disorder Awareness. One evening, while preparing for an upcoming presentation, Oliver looked over at Debbie, who was updating their blog with news about the latest Smile Day. He was struck by how much they had achieved, and how their shared challenges had forged an unbreakable bond. "Deb, do you ever think about what life would have been like if we hadn't met?" Oliver asked, a reflective tone in his voice. Debbie paused, considering a life without Oliver and the unique path they had traveled together. "I think about it sometimes," she admitted. "But then I look at what we've built, what we've been through, and how we've grown. I can't imagine any other life being as meaningful as fun." Oliver smiled, reaching across the table to squeeze her hand. "We were meant to find each other, weren't we?" "Yes, we were. Just like we were meant to help others find their way too," Debbie replied, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of pride and purpose. As their work continued to evolve, so did their family. They decided to adopt another child, a little girl named Mia who had been in the foster system and faced her own medical challenges. Sam was thrilled to become a big brother, eagerly taking on the role with all the seriousness of a young boy who understood the importance of family. Mia's arrival brought new joys and challenges, but with each hurdle, the family grew stronger. The house on Sycamore Lane, once a symbol of desperation, had become a home filled with love, laughter, and the occasional chaos of a busy, happy family. Years passed, and Debbie often found herself reflecting on the winding road that had led her here. Each hardship seemed like a distant memory, softened by the love and success that had bloomed from the darkest times. She was grateful for Oliver, for Sam, for Mia, and for the life they had built together. One sunny afternoon, as they all sat in the backyard, Debbie watching Sam and Mia play, Oliver came up behind her and wrapped his arms around her shoulders. "Everything we've been through, it was worth it, wasn't it?" he whispered. Debbie leaned back into his embrace, watching their children laugh and chase each other around the yard, their faces alight with joy. "Yes, it was all worth it. This is our forever happiness, our legacy of love and resilience." And in that perfect, peaceful moment, Debbie knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, with the same strength and love that had guided them so far. This was their happily ever after, a life crafted not by circumstance, but by choice and by the powerful, enduring bond of family.